When nature's strength built the impossible Cretanzid, even the sands remembered their footsteps. When the builders met the beasts, the desert itself roared with fury. Even the strongest can falter when fear strikes the heart of unity. From the throne of gold, the pharaoh watched power and chaos collide beneath the sun. Even the fiercest beasts bowed to his command, the pharaoh who ruled both man and monster. With the desert at his back and destiny ahead, the pharaoh's march shook the sands of time. Even the jungle trembled, Kat. The hunter of sand had found new ground to conquer. For a brief moment, the jungle was alive with joy, unaware that the storm was already on its way. And from celebration to terror, the jungle's joy turned into a storm of survival. Power had changed hands. The jungle's kings now bowed before the empire of sand and gold. Bound by chains of conquest, the kings of the jungle now walked beneath the sun of a foreign empire. From the mountains he watched Flas, the moment his kind fell, and the storm of vengeance began to rise. They built monuments not for glory, but for survival, beneath the eyes of their masters of sand. Every stone they lifted carried not just weight, but the memory of freedom they once knew. Oppression burns deepest before the storm of vengeance rises. When strength meets injustice, even silence begins to roar. Even the mighty fall, not from weakness, but from the weight of endless chains. When the jungle's silence was broken, it was by the roar of a king reclaiming his bloodline. Across the burning sands, vengeance ran on 2 feet, a storm born of fury and love. When cruelty ruled the sands, the sky itself began to tremble. And then the storm arrived, not from the sky, but from the fury of a forgotten king. The chains were broken, and the desert learned the meaning of wrath. In his fury burned mercy, the king who rose not for revenge, but for his own. And in that roar echoed every cry that had ever been silenced. Vengeance had found its voice. No weapon forged by man could stand against the fury of the wild king. His rage became the wind, his strength a storm that no empire could withstand. Empires crumble, not from weakness, but when nature remembers what was taken. At his command, the desert awoke Ovid, and vengeance now belonged to the beasts of sand. When monsters of earth and sand collided, the desert forgot the meaning of silence. The beast that once built for others now tore down the empire that chained his kind. When kings of earth and sand met, the desert itself chose its side. With every strike, he carved justice into the sands, until silence bowed before the king once more. Even wounded, the king did not fall to Saith. He became the storm that pain had promised. His pain became thunder, and his roar, the sound of vengeance rising. A king may bleed, but he never bows, Chugund, for pain only fuels his fury. The desert grew quiet, as if the world itself mourned the fall of its mightiest kink. Legends don't fall. They rise from the ruins that tried to bury them. That day, the desert trembled, for the king had turned his pain into power. With one final strike, he ended the tyranny of sand, and the desert bowed before its true king. And with one throw, he shattered centuries of tyranny. The roar of justice echoed through the sands of time. And the sands remembered how one roar could crumble the monuments of kings. From chains to freedom, from ashes to pride heave, the tribe found their king, and the desert found its peace. The war was over, say, and in the heart of the jungle, the king returned home to life, not battle. Peace was only a pause, for in the shadows of the wild, a new hunt had begun. The jungle's king had fallen, but even in chains, his roar echoed with the promise of vengeance. They took the king from his jungle, but they forgot. A cage cannot hold a storm forever. Empires believe they hold power until the beast they chase begins to breathe like thunder. They brought a god into the arena and called it entertainment. They thought they could chain a legend, but legends don't kneel for long. In a world that worships blood and fear, the legend stands unbroken. Strength meets speed, rage meets pride. Only one will rule the sands of Rome. One beast fought for freedom, the other for survival stayed, and the gods themselves watched. This isn't just a fight, it's nature reclaiming its crown. When titans clash, even the gods hold their breath. In the heart of Rome, power broke its chains. The wild was never meant to bow. Even in chains, a father's heart never bows. They called him a monster, but all he wanted was freedom. In the heart of Rome, the monster fought, not for glory, but for his freedom. Two beasts, one fate. Only the strongest will walk out alive. Even legends must kneel before they rise again. Even in pain, a legend refuses to die. Even when the world celebrates your fall, your spirit can still rise. When even the mighty fall, the world holds its breath.
When legends fall, innocence carries their echo.
Even death bows to those whose spirit was born to protect. Legends don't die. They rise again, brighter than ever. They feared the beast, but witnessed the birth of a legend. When legends clash again, the world holds its breath. The chains are gone. Now justice has a name, Kong. He fought not to kill, but to be free. From pain rose a legend, the king of all beasts. They made him fight for survival, but he fought for freedom. You caged a king, now face his wrath. They came with swords, but faced a storm. You made him your prisoner, now face your punishment.
They thought they could cage power. Now they face vengeance itself.
You wanted a monster. Now face a god's fury. They chained a king, but kings are never born to kneel. Empires fall, but legends rise from their ruins.